You know what stops most people from growing? They're too busy focusing on everything and everyone except themselves. They obsess over others' opinions, measure their worth against someone else's highlight reel, and constantly compare their path to another's. They scroll through social media, losing themselves in a digital illusion. They give their time and mental energy to things they can't control. But here's what's real. Your life reflects your focus. Whatever you choose to give your attention to, that's what expands. When you're focused on negativity, distractions, and what doesn't serve your purpose, don't be surprised when your life starts to reflect that. But the moment you redirect your attention inward on your own discipline, your habits, your evolution, everything begins to align. Because confidence, fulfillment, success, they don't come from outside approval. They are cultivated from within. People who build remarkable lives aren't waiting for perfect conditions. They're not lucky. They've simply committed to the one thing most never do: focusing on themselves. Want to build confidence? Then stop waiting for other people to applaud you. Stop depending on likes, comments, or praise to feel valuable. Confidence doesn't get handed to you, it's earned. And it's earned through action. You prove your worth to yourself by showing up, by keeping the promises you make, even on the hard days. Every time you follow through, you reinforce that you can rely on you. That's how self-confidence is constructed brick by brick through consistency. Want success? Then stop watching what everyone else is doing. Stop scrolling. Stop comparing. Stop placing your worth on someone else's timeline. The only person you need to outperform is who you were yesterday. Imagine if you improved just 1% each day. What would your life look like in a year? Success isn't about giant leaps. It's about the daily disciplined choices, the small acts of consistency. Waking up and choosing effort over ease. Choosing forward motion over perfection. Understanding that imperfect action is still progress. That's where momentum lives. Now think about how much of your energy you waste. The overthinking, the doubt, the fear of judgment. What if for the next 30 days you made a simple agreement with yourself to focus only on your own development? What if you woke up each morning and asked, what can I do today to be 1% better? What if all the energy you normally pour into distractions was redirected toward your goals, your habits, your mindset? Everything would change. Because when you turn the spotlight inward, you rise, and when you rise, everything else around you follows. Your relationships improve because you're no longer chasing approval. You're showing up with confidence. Your career accelerates because you've stopped comparing and started sharpening your craft. Your mindset shifts because you're no longer waiting for opportunity, you're creating it. But most people never reach that point. Why? Because they're waiting for motivation. Waiting for the right time, waiting for someone else to say, you can go now. Let me tell you, no one is coming. No one is going to wake you up and force you to chase your dream. No one is going to hand you the life you crave. That's your responsibility. But the second you stop waiting and start moving, that's when things begin to click. That's when the pieces come together. Distractions won't disappear. Social media won't vanish. The opinions of others won't evaporate. But you get to decide where your focus goes. And that choice, that's everything. So today, choose to focus on yourself. Choose to invest in your growth. Pick just one thing, one small action that moves you forward, then do it. No excuses, no more waiting, just action. Because the second you redirect your energy inward, everything begins to shift. Energy is everything. Where you place your attention is where your energy flows, and that flow decides the direction of your life. Take a moment and really reflect. How much of your energy is spent monitoring others, overanalyzing, or indulging distractions that pull you off course? Every minute spent fixated on things that don't move you forward is a minute stolen from building the life you say you want. The truth is, most people aren't drained because they're doing too much. They're drained because they're giving too much of themselves to the wrong things. They pour energy into people who don't support them, into fears they can't fix, into problems they don't need to own. They give everything away except to themselves. Then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel like nothing is changing. But the answer is simple. They haven't yet learned to guard their focus. Your energy is your most valuable currency. You only get so much of it each day, and what you spend it on determines your results. If you spend it worrying about what others think, you give your power away. If you spend it obsessing over someone else's win, you rob time from your own journey. If you let your day be dictated by distractions, you're letting your life slip out of your hands. But the moment you reclaim that energy and channel it toward your own growth, everything starts to change. Picture this. Instead of wondering whether others approve of you, you start learning to approve of yourself. Instead of ruminating over your mistakes, you extract lessons from them. Instead of wishing for a better reality, you begin to build one. That shift from outward focus to inward focus is what unlocks everything you've been chasing. Because success isn't about luck or talent or waiting for the right moment. It's about how you manage your energy every day. The people who hit their goals aren't always the most gifted. They're just the ones who understand how precious their attention is. They protect it. They guard it like their life depends on it because it does. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to be building incredible lives. Do you think they spend hours scrolling, comparing, envying? No, they're locked in. They're tuned into their purpose. They're moving with precision. They know that where their focus goes, their life grows. They treat their focus like gold, and that's why they win. You can do the same. If you want to transform your life, start by transforming where you place your attention. Cut the noise. Draw lines. Don't let others' opinions govern your direction. Be intentional about how you spend your time. Because every second you waste on what doesn't serve you is a second that could have been invested in what does. Focus is the foundation. You don't need more hours. You don't need more inspiration. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to stop leaking energy into things that don't matter and start channeling it into the things that do. Because the moment you do, you'll discover something powerful. You were never really stuck. You were just distracted. And when you finally learn to turn that focus inward, everything begins to realign. See, success isn't about experiencing one giant breakthrough. It's not about waking up one morning, making some massive decision, and instantly changing everything. That's the fantasy version. Real success, the kind that lasts, is forged in the ordinary. It's built in the small, consistent moments. It's crafted in the quiet, daily decisions that no one sees. The problem is most people miss that. They think they need a big event, a bolt of motivation, or some perfect alignment to begin their transformation. But here's the truth. The future you're building is shaped by what you do in the smallest moments of your life. Every morning you're presented with a choice. Do you hit snooze, or do you rise with purpose? Do you numb your brain with your phone or spend a few minutes preparing your priorities? Do you make excuses about why you can't chase your dream, or do you take one small step forward? These moments may seem minor, but over time they stack. They become habits. And your habits, those small repeated actions, build the blueprint for your future. The mistake most people make is underestimating these decisions. They assume success must come from massive, dramatic action. So they wait for perfect conditions, for a complete plan, for the right mindset. And in waiting, they stay the same. But let me tell you something. Consistent small actions are far more powerful than any one-time push. You don't need to reinvent your life in a day. You just need to start right now. If you want more discipline, just keep one promise to yourself today. That's it. 1. If you want to be healthier, make one better food choice. If you want to be more focused, remove just one distraction. One decision repeated daily can change everything. It's not about how fast you move. It's about your willingness to move forward, even if it's just a few inches at a time. The reason most people quit is because they're chasing instant results. They go to the gym for a week, don't see a difference, and stop. They start a new goal, hit a hurdle, and convince themselves it wasn't meant for them. But real progress doesn't show up immediately. It's invisible at first. Growth happens beneath the surface, long before it reveals itself outwardly. It's like planting a seed. You water it, tend to it, and for weeks, there's no sign of life. It seems pointless, but underground, something powerful is taking root. And then one day, without warning, it breaks through the soil. That's how success works. Those small efforts you're making, they're building something beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. It's happening. That's why consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation is temporary. It fluctuates. One day you're inspired, the next you're not. But discipline says, I'll do it anyway. Discipline shows up rain or shine. And here's the best part. When you stick with it long enough, it stops feeling hard. The things you once resisted become your new normal. That's the power of habit. At first, it's uncomfortable, but eventually it becomes part of who you are. And when that happens, you're not chasing success anymore. You're living it. So stop searching for the shortcut. Stop waiting for the ideal time. Stop minimizing the impact of small actions. Your future is being built right now in the decisions you make today. So commit. Stay the course. Even when you can't yet see the payoff, trust the process, because it's working, whether you see it or not. Most people spend their lives chasing validation. They want approval from parents, partners, friends, followers. They tailor their choices to keep others happy. They silence their desires, their dreams, their voice just to avoid judgment. They shrink themselves to fit expectations they didn't choose. But here's the truth. The moment you stop living for approval is the moment you finally experience freedom. Really stop and think how many of your choices have been shaped by fear of rejection. How often have you backed down from a dream, not because it wasn't right for you, but because you were scared of failing publicly? How often have you done something just to make someone else comfortable? You weren't born to live someone else's life. You weren't created to play by rules you never agreed to. You are here to live your life. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you become powerful. Seeking approval is a trap. It makes you question your own voice. It makes you afraid to be bold, to be different, to stand out. But the reality is, no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. You can do everything right, and someone will still criticize you. So why waste your energy trying to win everyone over? The happiest, most impactful people in the world, they trust themselves. They don't ask for permission to chase their dream, they just go. They don't wait to be told they're good enough, they decide they are. Their worth isn't attached to applause, it's rooted in their identity. When you stop craving approval, something powerful happens. You start acting in alignment with you. You set stronger boundaries. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop bending to keep others comfortable, and in that space, you meet your true self. This isn't about being selfish. It's about recognizing that your life belongs to you. You are responsible for the choices you make and the future you shape. So ask yourself, are you living in a way that makes you proud? Or are you just trying to please people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared? It's time to trade approval for alignment. What lights you up? What feels right, even if no one else understands? That's the path you follow. Yes, some people will resist your growth. They'll judge. They'll try to pull you back to the version of you they were comfortable with. Let them. Your job is not to keep others comfortable. It's to live your truth. And the irony, the more you stop chasing approval, the more people respect you. Because real confidence is magnetic, and confidence doesn't come from faking it, it comes from knowing and trusting who you are. So from now on, stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Stop asking if you're good enough. Decide that you are. Stop fearing their judgment. Start owning your decisions. This life is yours. Live it on your terms, because once you start believing in yourself, everything else starts falling into place. In today's world, silence is rare. We're surrounded by voices, social media feeds, news cycles, opinions of strangers and friends, all shouting who you should be, how you should think, what you should care about. It's constant, and if you're not careful, that noise will drown out your inner voice. You'll begin to live according to someone else's standards. You'll chase goals that were never yours. And one day, you'll wake up realizing you've built a life that doesn't even feel like your own. But the problem isn't that you don't know who you are or what you want. Deep down, you do. The real problem is you can't hear yourself over the noise. All those voices, the pressure to fit in, the weight of comparison, the fear of standing out, they cloud your vision. They paralyze your decisions. They feed your doubt. But here's what's real. The answers you're looking for aren't out there. They're already inside you. You just need enough quiet to hear them. When was the last time you were truly alone? No distractions, no scrolling, no stimulation, just you, your breath, and your thoughts. Most people avoid that space. They keep themselves constantly entertained or busy because they're afraid of what silence might reveal. But if you want clarity, you need stillness. You need to retreat from the chaos to reconnect with what's real. Because when you finally pause, something incredible happens. Your mind clears. Your inner knowing returns. You remember who you are, what matters, what excites you, not based on opinions, but truth. This is why high performers prioritize solitude. It's not because they're antisocial, it's because they understand that creativity, clarity, and peace don't come from noise. They come from reflection, from stepping back, from going inward. So if you feel lost or overwhelmed, stop searching outward. Take a step back from the noise. Log off. Stop crowdsourcing your decisions. Put down your phone, be alone, go for a walk, journal, meditate, breathe. At first it'll feel strange. Your mind will crave distraction. But if you sit with that discomfort long enough, you'll find clarity on the other side. You'll begin to recognize what you actually believe, what truly inspires you, what no longer fits. And once you see that, you become unshakable. You no longer need to seek opinions. You no longer fear judgment. You no longer question your direction, because now your compass is internal, not external. That's the secret. That's the shift most never make. They keep searching, comparing, and asking, never realizing that everything they seek is already within them. So make the decision to get quiet, to listen. Because once you reconnect with yourself, you'll realize the truth. You already have the answers. Most people don't recognize how much of their power is being drained day after day by things that don't matter. They waste hours worrying, overthinking, comparing, and stressing over situations they can't change and people who don't care. They give their focus to drama, to doubt, to distraction, and then they wonder why they feel tired, stuck, or unfulfilled. But here's the truth. Your energy is your life force. Where you invest it determines what grows in your life. If your attention goes to fear, doubt, or the past, you'll stay frozen. But if you redirect that same energy toward building, healing, growing, everything changes. Every complaint, every moment you spend rehashing a problem, every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're spending energy that could have fueled your future. You don't have unlimited reserves. Your energy is sacred. You must guard it like your next level depends on it, because it does. That means cutting distractions. That means being selective with who gets access to your mind and time. That means saying no even when it's uncomfortable. Protecting your energy isn't rude, it's responsible. When you stop handing out your energy like it's limitless, you start to see a shift. You become more clear, more motivated, more in control. You stop being exhausted all the time, not because you're doing less, but because you're finally focused on what actually matters. That's why boundaries are so critical. Not because you're trying to push people away, but because you're choosing what aligns and what doesn't. If something drains you, leave it. If someone brings constant negativity, create distance. If a habit pulls you backward, replace it with one that propels you forward. You don't owe explanations. You don't need to apologize for choosing your peace. Because the people who get the most done, the ones you admire, aren't those doing the most. They're the ones doing the right things with intention and clarity. They know how to protect their energy like a treasure chest. And you can do that too. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to wait for the perfect plan. You just need to stop giving your energy to what drains you and start investing it into what builds you. Make the decision. No more energy leaks. No more stress over what doesn't move you forward. No more pouring into empty spaces. Channel that power into your wellness, your growth, your passion. Because once you reclaim your energy, everything else begins to align. You were never broken. You were never stuck. You were simply giving too much energy to the wrong things. And now that you see that, you can shift everything. Most people are not leading their lives, they're reacting to them. The moment they wake up, they grab their phone, check their messages, scroll through social media, and immediately start responding to other people's priorities. From that point on, they move through the day on autopilot, handling tasks, extinguishing fires, checking boxes, yet by nightfall, they feel depleted, frustrated, and disconnected from anything meaningful. Why? Because they weren't intentional. They didn't decide how they'd spend their time or energy, they just gave it away. And when that becomes the norm, life starts to feel stagnant, joyless, and out of control. But here's what changes everything: intentionality. The moment you stop letting life pull you in every direction and start choosing where your time and focus go, is the moment everything begins to shift. Intentionality means knowing what truly matters to you and aligning your actions accordingly. It means being deliberate about how you spend your energy. So you're not just busy, you're effective. You're not just active, you're aligned. Think about your daily routine. How much of it genuinely contributes to your growth, your happiness, your vision? How much of it is just mindless repetition, unnecessary obligations, or distractions that don't serve you? If you feel like your life isn't moving forward, it's probably not because you lack ability. It's because your time and energy aren't being used with intention. Now imagine this, waking up each day with clarity, knowing your priorities, setting boundaries to protect them, ending each day not just tired but fulfilled because your time was spent on things that mattered. That version of life isn't a fantasy. It's a result of taking your power back. So how do you get there? Start by identifying your priorities. What truly matters to you? What goals, values, and dreams are worth your energy? Once you're clear on those, audit your habits. Ask yourself, are my daily actions aligned with what I say matters, or am I letting distractions dictate my path? Next, start eliminating the noise. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't need to respond to every message instantly. You don't need to scroll for hours or say yes to every invite. You don't need to justify protecting your peace. Because if you don't protect your time, someone else will take it from you. Once you cut the unnecessary, prioritize what fuels you. Carve out time for your growth. Block distractions. Set clear intentions for each day and act on them. Not just plan, not just think, do. That's the difference between those who make progress and those who stay stuck. It's not about being busy, it's about being focused, purposeful, present. The most successful people aren't just hard workers, they're aligned workers. They know how to concentrate on what moves them forward. They know how to say no to what doesn't. They don't let the world dictate their direction, they lead their lives with clarity. And the best part, you can too. The truth is, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not missing anything. You're just one decision away from changing everything. That decision is to stop reacting and start choosing, to stop giving energy to things that don't serve you, and start living on purpose. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for a rescue. Don't wait for validation. Take your life into your hands now. You already have what you need. You just have to be intentional enough to use it.